just happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month 'cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad, I've been bad, got coal that is sitting under my tree. I think that my Christmas has died. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song.
Yes, indeed. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Women's U.S. title match is set. WWE Saturday night's main event going down tomorrow night. We watch Dynamite. We watch SmackDown. We're talking about wrestling. It's Wrestling Uncensored. You know the deal. You know it. You know what's going on. Big Johnny's here. I'm here. It's Friday night. We're talking professional wrestling, as we do every Friday night here on YouTube, on Rumble, on all the things, on Kick, on, I'm sure I'm missing something. Twitch? Twitching? We're everywhere, Johnny. We're on all the streaming platforms, And we are here. We are live. It's the Ringside Report Network. It's Wrestling Uncensored. It's the big time. And we got a big show for you tonight. So much going on in pro wrestling, as always. There's always something happening in wrestling. They're always doing something. They're always up to something, Johnny. Ring of Honor Final Battle is next week. I know you're excited for that. I know you're excited. At the Hammerstein Ballroom. Chris Jericho. Zack Ryder. Right?
That's one of the matches. Yeah, there's a whole card announced already. I don't think you know about it, but it doesn't look too bad. I wish actually it was available to order, but I think you have to have the actual ROH like whole subscription to get the pay-per-view. So it's not really much a pay-per-view if that's the case.
Too bad. They make it tough to watch. They make it tough to watch, John. Why exactly? Let me ask you a question here. We're going to talk about the WWE. We're going to talk about all sorts of things, pro wrestling-wise. But this has been something on my mind this week. All right? Throw a question to you. Why is Kenny Omega wrestling his return match? Hasn't wrestled in over a year. Why is his first match, first feud, first everything happening with Gabe Kidd in New Japan, with his match going down on January 5th, I think, 6th, at the Wrestle Dynasty show? Why is Kenny Omega, Executive Vice President of AEW, making his return for a company that is not AEW?
You didn't hear the reason? Like he gave the reason why he's doing this.
Because he thinks AEW doesn't need him as much as New Japan does? That's the reason?
That's one of the reasons. Like another reason is like he feels he needs to get back to Japan because for all the great years that he had there, and they haven't had him for so long, so he feels like he owes them in a sense. Having not wrestled in so long, coming back, like over a year now he's been off. You kind of want to have a match that you're comfortable with, and I guess he's more comfortable doing this.
Does it make sense to you? Do you think it's a smart move? I mean, just the optics. Look at the chat, John. Alex Tara says
I only see one.
Alex Tara says it's because he doesn't believe in AEW anymore. Leor says, AEW is so bad, I don't even watch YouTube highlights anymore. I mean, what's going on? What is going on? It's just, it doesn't add up to me. I was talking to a friend of mine this week who's a wrestling fan, and I said to him, Kenny is wrestling his return match in AEW. He's like, where's Kenny? When's Kenny coming back? I'm like, Kenny is coming back. Kenny's wrestling soon. He's wrestling in like 2 weeks. He's like, what? Where? Like New Japan. He couldn't understand why. I mean, to the average wrestling fan, to most people that hear Kenny Omega is coming back to wrestling when, the thought in AEW was like the Elite left him for dead and he had all this surgery that he needed to have, and he was maybe gonna never wrestle again or possibly die. Like, there was, serious implications there when Kenny was last seen in AEW. He was taken away in an ambulance. And he doesn't come back for AEW, the company that he founded, that he's an executive vice president of. He doesn't make his return there. His return program, his return match,
Their show standalone, but this is a joint pay-per-view. It's like co-promoted with AEW, and it's in Japan. So, like, it's still with AEW. AEW will still probably broadcast in some capacity, whatever means they do. Maybe YouTube, whatever. It might be on Triller, like however they distribute it. AEW will also have a handle in this. So, yeah, it's still with AEW. It's just not in North America. So, I mean, if anything, this is helping them expand. And if more eyeballs get on Kenny in Japan, you kind of want that, no? Like, you're kind of forgetting. And you, out of all people, got hooked into New Japan, bought New Japan World, like subscribed to it because the wrestling was so good. And now you're kind of putting down the wrestling in Japan. Like, they don't deserve that compared to here, almost.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you are a leader of a wrestling company, you should be loyal to that company.
I mean, he still is. I mean, it's still working with AEW, right? Like, just because it's not here, again, it doesn't mean it's not.
I don't know about that.
With AEW will still probably broadcast.
I don't know. Apparently, Angelo says there's no audio, but I'm hearing audio on my feed. I think we're good.
Leader of a wrestling company.
No?
I hear you. I hear
Yeah, I'm
you
hearing
echo.
myself here on the feed. I think we're good, Angelo. The audio's there. Maybe refresh. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hearing audio. I have the YouTube open up on my thing here. I'm hearing audio. Just I see a comment in the chat from Angelo, one of our loyal viewers, saying there's no audio. I freak out for a second. I go, whoa, what do you mean? What happened? We have been having like a couple internet glitches. Have you seen that, John? Have I been glitching out?
Maybe like for a split of a second. That's about it.
Yeah. If something happened, you could just refresh the browser. Refresh your browser, and you should be good. Refresh your feed or whatever, you know. I'm seeing Ryan Katz talk about the statement from Tony Khan about Ray Phoenix and all of that. Was that real?
I didn't see the statement. Like, did he release a statement? I didn't see it.
Well, there was a statement that was supposedly an internal statement that leaked, and it was going around the, and it was kind of nuts. So you heard about Ray Phoenix, right? Ray Phoenix.
I think we talked about it a little bit, didn't we? Kind of.
Ray Phoenix is upset. He wants to go to the WWE to join his brother, Pentagon. Phoenix can't go contract with AEW.
Because
Right?
the contract got extended due to injury.
Right. The contract got extended because he was out from injury time. And, you know, he wasn't working, so they extended that time, right? Which companies sometimes do, sometimes don't. And Phoenix has been vocal about it online, saying that he was mistreated by AEW's doctors. He's saying a lot of things, and I think maybe he's deleted some of it. But I can show you one from Phoenix's post, or from his Twitter, where he says I will have my chance to speak the truth, replying to a comment saying that AEW not using Ray Phoenix is wrong and that they should free Ray Phoenix. And there's been a lot of talk of trying to free Ray Phoenix. Get Ray Phoenix out of his AEW contract. And then there was this statement that came out that was like supposedly an internal statement released by Tony Khan that was so nuts it seemed fake. I could read it to you, John. You haven't heard this? You haven't seen this thing?
I didn't hear about this at all. I know about the Ray Phoenix stuff, but I didn't know about this statement.
So here's a statement from Tony Khan, supposedly. I don't know how real it is. I want to address the recent claims made by Ray Phoenix regarding the medical care and treatment he has received in AEW. I want to sincerely apologize to Ray for any misunderstandings or issues he has faced. The reality is Ray does not speak English fluently. which has made it very challenging for us to properly communicate and understand his needs at times. For example, when Ray suffered an injury last year, I thought he was trying to tell me he was hungry, so I sent him to get something to eat at a nearby restaurant instead of getting him immediate medical attention. I feel terrible about that situation, and I take full responsibility. Okay, no way. Like, wait. Before we read the rest of it. What? There's no way he actually put that in writing and released it, even internally. Because that's bananas.
Right.
There's no way that... It can't be real. Ray doesn't speak English. Here's an example. One time he was injured. He was trying to tell me, but I didn't understand. So I sent him to a restaurant to get something to eat because I thought he was saying hungry. And so what did Ray Phoenix do? He's like, well, I guess I have to go eat now because the boss told me to go to this restaurant. So he's like at a restaurant like, ow, my arm hurts. I really wish I was at a hospital right now, but, you know, this pasta's all right. Like, what's going on?
I mean,
this can't be real. So I'll finish reading this statement because whatever.
Why not?
We are committed to providing the best possible care for all our wrestlers, but the language barrier with Ray has made that more difficult. We are working to improve our communication and translation services to ensure this doesn't happen again. At the end of the day, the fault lies with me and our organization for not being able to properly understand and address Ray's needs. I want Ray to know that his health and well-being are our top priorities. We will redouble our efforts to ensure he receives the world-class medical care and support he deserves. I'm hopeful we can move forward in a spirit of mutual understanding and work together to create the best possible environment for our entire AEW roster. Tony Khan, CEO, All Elite Wrestling. I mean, the rest of it reads, you know, like a statement, except the part where he's like, I thought he was hungry, so I sent him to a restaurant. He said injured, I thought hungry. I mean,
that's a bit of a red flag. You're going to tell me out of all the people there that speak English and Spanish, out of a number of wrestlers and people that just work backstage, none of them could have relayed the message? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I don't believe this is accurate. I don't believe he released something like that.
I don't believe it either. It seems fake. But
well,
it's funny
what people put out. Yeah, it's funny what people like to put out, like, and like to believe.
Well, it
and
went around, John. People did believe it.
Well, there you go. Some people believed it, and
it was. But the thing is,
nice laugh.
But the thing is, John, it's the type of thing where you go, could be real.
Not that way. I think
really?
People are taking their guess. I think people are taking their guesses because we don't know what's going on there. I mean, that's truly what it is. And that some people just thought that'd be a funny thing to put out there, so they put it out there. And like, if it gets a laugh, it gets people talking, why not? They like causing misery for a lot of people. So that's what they do. So that's what it was. That's what it was meant for.
Do you think it's a bad look for AEW to be keeping Phoenix?
No. He signed the contract. Like, don't sign the contract next time.
They're taking
that's on
heat,
you,
though.
buddy. Because they're upholding their contract. Like,
but John,
I don't blame them.
Okay, but it's not a matter of upholding the contract. They're upholding the contract, but keeping him home. They're not even using him. They're just keeping him on ice until, you know, which is a tactic. But come on.
I mean, is he getting paid? It's not like he's starving. Like, he'll live. So next time, like, don't sign a contract like that.
That's all I can say to that. He's getting paid to stay home, which is pretty dope. I wish I was getting paid to stay home. You know what I mean? That's actually a pretty good deal. Things. You get paid and you don't have to go to work. He doesn't have to wrestle and he's getting paid. Why are people mad? I think you're right, John. You just changed my mind. Why is he mad?
Well, and imagine too, like, don't think he's like getting paid like peanuts too. Like, he's got a nice, sweet contract, I imagine. So, just to stay home for that, I'm not shedding any tears for him whatsoever.
Yeah. I love it. I think you're right. But, that doesn't negate the fact that AEW is in some weird territory right now.
Oh, they got some issues they got to solve, and we'll see if that happens or not. I feel, if we're going to talk about Dynamite, the four-way, it's not the biggest thing I want to see, but at least Christian's involved. There might be a positive at the end of that, potentially, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes. So you're talking about the four-way match that's going to happen at World's End for the AEW World Title. Jon Moxley is going to wrestle Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Hangman Page in a four-way for the belt. He made the challenge on Dynamite. I think it's official. There was a tag match to open the show. Moxley and Pac got the win over Orange and Jay White by disqualification. A rare disqualification finish in AEW, right? You'd never see that. Hangman Page attacked Moxley, so you kind of have to call for the bell. But it's a rare thing, AEW. You break up, like they usually have finishes, I didn't mind it, though.
I think in this case it made sense because you don't want your world champion losing, right? Because that's what would have happened. And you kind of wanted to build up the fact that it's going to be a four-way, so it helped in that situation. And they, like you said, they rarely use DQs, so I don't have a problem if they don't overdo it. Like, just let them don't do another DQ for a while, and you're fine.
Mm-hmm. And Orange was mad about that. Like last week, Orange, Jay White, and Hangman were all kind of on the same side against the what are they called? Death Riders?
Death Rider.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But this week, Orange was mad because he was about to hit the orange punch on Moxley, right? Like he was about to hit his finisher when Hangman attacked. So Orange kind of pulled Hangman off of Moxley and was like, what the hell? And then Hangman punched Orange, and then they were fighting each other. And then Jay White attacked Hangman because he was mad too. And then Orange went for his punch, but he accidentally hit Jay White, so that causes the problem between Orange and Jay. And then Orange hits the punch on Hangman, drops him. And then White hits the Blade Runner on Orange, drops him. And then the Death Riders come back in the ring and start beating up on the babyfaces, and then they kind of run away. That was the opening segment on Dynamite. The match was what it was. It wasn't bad, but it got to where they needed to go, right? It was about getting to the four-way and kind of figuring out a path to that match.
I actually found the match was a bit of a drag because they started it off with them just brawling all over the place.
Yes.
And like that's the high point of the whole thing. Like once they started wrestling, it's like, well, now this is just dragging on. It's not really exciting anymore. Now they're just wrestling. It kind of felt like very long after that period of time. And it's like once it got to that angle and you saw Christian up in the balcony, it's like, okay, something's going on here. Didn't mind that. And then what happened afterwards with Christian, I'm like, okay, now the show feels like it's picking up again.
You like when they're brawling around the ring?
Like at least it had some action. Like, and to me, I thought they weren't even going to have it. Honestly, don't have the match. Just brawl. That would have been fine. Once they started having the match, then I was like, oh, nothing's really happening now. Like,
I hate that brawling stuff. As soon as they start doing that to open a match, I tune out. I feel like that's the worst stuff because you're just grabbing a guy's head, throwing him into the barricade, throwing him here, throwing him there, just kind of grabbing a guy and making him run. It's, what do they call it? Walk and talk? I don't like it. I don't like that stuff. I really don't like, because it's not wrestling. They're just kind of walking around. Two guys walking around, kind of throwing each other into barricades, punching each other here and there. Without kind of big spots and big bumps outside, which they didn't do because you're at the beginning of the match. I find that stuff supremely boring. The walking around the arena, just dragging each other by the head, and the other guy willingly walking with you, like, I don't like that stuff. It's overly fake.
still more memorable than what the match was. Because honestly, once the match started, I felt like, can this end, please? And that's sad because I thought the talent's pretty good in the ring, and it's like why is this so bad? And I feel like it's the brawl took away from it, actually. You couldn't get any higher off that. As much as you maybe didn't like the brawl, that was more exciting than what we saw in the match.
Yeah, I didn't think the match was special. I thought Christian's promo from the Skybox was very good and just brutal. You know, talking about how he doesn't really care about the other guys in that four-way. You know, he's the next AEW World Champion, and he's focused on the AEW World Champion. And Christian is a heel, and Moxley is a heel. And Christian is saying that he's going to take the title away from Moxley and force him back to alcohol, send him back to rehab. Like, just a vicious promo on Jon Moxley. And then he gets attacked by Hook, and Hook beats up Christian because Hook is looking for revenge on Christian for beating up Taz. But that promo from Christian was fantastic, as always. But, my God, he really goes for the jugular every time, you know? I understand you have a father. I understand your father is dead, you know, and all that stuff that he does. It's just brutal promos. He says the most vicious, heinous things you could think of. And it's pretty great. I like it. It's entertaining.
Well, that's the main thing that he does very well. He's very entertaining, and he gets the point across very well, and he got the crowd going quite well. And once Hook came in, people popped. I thought the brawl was kind of a bit long. I don't know if maybe like Christian's sons were a little late there coming in, because it felt like Hook was dragging it a bit. Like he threw him across like all the food. They did it again a second time. It's like I feel like they were supposed to come the first time, they didn't. And there's a lot of broken glass everywhere too. It's like you can get really hurt with that stuff. Like hopefully no one was, but it's little injuries you don't need, especially after we've seen like event like Survivor Series. You don't need these crazy injuries for little matches like this or little segments like this.
Mm-hmm. You think Christian is gonna become champion at World's End, or does Moxley hold on to the belt? Where are we going here?
I think Christian's going to try. I feel Christian's going to get it. It's just not yet, though. He's going to try, but it's not going to be a successful actual try to cash in. Something's going to block him, I think, again. Maybe it'll be Hook. Maybe Taz will come back. Something's going to stop him again.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he'll get it, just not yet.
What the hell is with these Bandito Western things that they're doing? I mean, this was ridiculous. You got Bandito doing lucha moves to fake cowboys on a Western set in the snow, and he's shirtless for some reason. I mean, I'm seeing this going, what the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? Where are we? What era of wrestling am I watching? It's ridiculous.
I don't know in what era we'd ever watch a promo like that, but it is cool.
Early 90s, probably.
Maybe. I don't know if it'd be that crazy, but maybe you're right. But on a personal level, I think it's kind of cool that our buddy Jeremy Prophet, he went to go train with Bandito in Mexico. So if Bandito's on television, AEW, hopefully that works out well for Jeremy possibly in the future.
Okay.
So, like, I'm like you. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of the promo, but
yeah,
I like seeing Bandito around because if my friend gets on television because of that, that's great.
Mm-hmm. I thought Will Ospreay and Claudio Castagnoli had the match of the show. Obviously, it was very good.
I mean, it was very good. I didn't mind Ricochet and Brody King. I thought that told a very good story too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right. I think you're right. Ospreay, Claudio was the best match. It had the best build too because Claudio was undefeated going up to that point. And I liked that the finish wasn't like overdone. It was just like, oh, he got him out of nowhere kind of thing. I thought that was good. And again, it wasn't the most craziest Ospreay match, but it didn't need to be. So it worked for what we had.
And Ospreay picking up the win, picking up points. I could give you a Continental Classic update as well. Adam Cole beat Kyle O'Reilly. Weird finish there. MJF showing up on the apron just to eat a super kick from Cole. And then Kyle rolled up Cole like off the distraction, but Adam Cole just kicked out and then got a small package on Kyle O'Reilly and then just pinned him, and that was the finish of the match. It was weird. MJF just walked away afterwards too. There was no after anything with MJF. Showed up, jumped on the apron, takes a super kick, and was not really of any consequence to the finish of the match. And that's how it all ends between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, where Cole gets to wrestle MJF now at World's End for the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Well, I'm happy that's the case, because I'd rather we knew we were going to get to this eventually, right? Adam Cole, MJF. I'd rather now, instead of waiting another pay-per-view for it to happen. So let's get this over with. I feel MJF's going to win still regardless, but at least we're getting to this point finally now. I was surprised when Excalibur said that all time Kyle O'Reilly's beaten Adam Cole more times. I mean, I think he had like one match advantage, so I think they're tied now. But still, like, I'm very surprised Kyle O'Reilly has beaten Adam Cole more times. Adam Cole, a much bigger star.
Yeah. They're the same.
I know you don't care.
No, I don't really. Rick O'Shea beat Brody King to get his points there in the Continental Classic. Is Rick O'Shea, it seems like he's teasing joining MVP and Bobby Lashley and Shelton. I think he's going to.
I think we talked about this before too, didn't we? Like in the original Hurt Business, they wanted Ricochet.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not do it now? I mean, now's the time to do it, right? So just do it. I thought Ricochet worked better because he worked more as a heel in this match. I feel like he works better as a heel, actually, more than a face. Like a face, I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but I feel as a heel, there's more of a character there.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen Ricochet as a babyface for so long. He was never a heel in WWE, and, you know, it didn't really go anywhere. This same character, you can't be that forever. I think a heel turn would do him good. He joins. Classic, John. You like that? Where I got the brackets and everything? I got the points and so on? Should I do that?
You got gold and blue?
Yes.
Both
What do you want to
leagues?
see
Wow.
first?
I guess we'll see the Gold League first.
Okay. Johnny North has requested the Gold League. Here it is. Right now, the leader of the Gold League, well, it's actually a three-way tie. Claudio, Will Ospreay, Rick O'Shea all have 6 points with 2 victories apiece. Darby Allin, 3 points with a win and a loss. And Brody King with 3 points with a win over Darby Allin and a loss to Claudio and a loss to now Richard O'Shea. Commander, still 0 points in the Gold League. And coming up Wednesday night is the match of the tournament, Will Ospreay versus Darby Allin, which should be sick.
Big match, but also Ospreay's wrestled less matches than everyone too. So like it might be tied, but he still has more matches to wrestle though.
Ospreay or Darby?
I guess both of them actually, right? Because they've only wrestled, but
they've
still,
each wrestled 2.
But Ospreay's up by 6 though. So
yes, but this is their third match. If Darby wins, he would have 6 points as well, right?
it makes it much more difficult to see who would win then if Darby wins, which is not impossible. I mean, I could see if anyone could beat Ospreay, I think it would be Darby.
Yeah, Darby could win this match. It could be a time limit draw. Like, I don't know. You think Ospreay beats Darby clean?
I mean, I could see Darby sneaking out a win. Very possible. I could see that actually. And again, I think the other in the Blue League, you'll see it's a much more different in terms of the points. Like there's a huge difference with who's winning, who's not winning. Where I think maybe Gold, they want to make it more close. So I think Darby should win to keep it close.
I agree. I think it would be fun if Darby won. I'm really looking forward to that match coming up at AEW's Holiday Bash in Washington, D.C. on Dynamite this Wednesday. And there you see the Blue League. We have Kyle Fletcher in the lead, undefeated so far, 3-0 with 9 points right now, leading the league. He pinned Okada last weekend.
Yep.
What the hell is going on?
They're giving him the huge push right. I mean, I think it's clear to say Kyle Fletcher, unless some sort of disaster happens, he's winning Blue League. He's going to the pay-per-view for sure.
He should.
He's gonna wrestle the runner-up for Gold League, I think. So, like whoever's gonna win who's ever gonna be the runner-up here? That's a good question, though. I feel it's gonna be Okada, but maybe they'll give it to Garcia. It's impossible. I'd love it to be Benjamin, but I feel he's gonna get screwed somehow.
I think it'll be Okada, and then what? He wrestles Fletcher again in the finals?
Well, I think the way it works is the winner of the league faces the runner-up to the other league. So Okada would face the winner of Gold League. That's how that would work.
I see. And then he could beat him and face Fletcher in the finals and beat him and still win the whole thing.
I think it might be Ospreay against Okada. I think that's what's going to happen.
Fine.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, Fletcher for sure is going to win this thing because he's only got matches against Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe left.
Well, yeah, I think he's going to win. Blue. Again, unless a disaster happens. There have been some upsets, right? You didn't think Fletcher would beat Okada, so upsets can happen.
I guess. The Beast Mortos still 0 points after 2 matches. Shelton has 3 points with a win over Mark Briscoe and a loss to Kyle Fletcher. Mark Briscoe with 1 win over Daniel Garcia, losses to Okada and Shelton. Okada with 1 time limit draw with Daniel Garcia. 1 win over Mark Briscoe and the loss to Kyle Fletcher. 4 points for Okada. Good enough for second place, tied with Daniel Garcia, who's got a win over Beast Mortos and that draw with Okada. And then you have Briscoe and Shelton with 3. So it's, second place is still kind of up for grabs. Second place is as good as first. Doesn't really matter, right? Because you get a spot in the semifinals and then, who.
But the problem is if you're tied, then you have to have like a sudden death match, though. Remember last year when they had like that 3-way match? It was Moxley and who else was it? There was 2 other guys that was tied. And like they had to have the 3-way to determine who'd get the race away the tie. So that might happen again this year as well if they're tied.
And the finals are at World's End? Like the
semis and the finals are at World's End.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Tournament style. I like it. They have to wrestle 2 matches in one night. Wow.
So I think a great chance. The way I'm seeing it now, I think Ospreay against Okada, and then I think Ospreay against Fletcher in the finals.
Jeez. It's going to be a tough night for all those guys. Because, the wrestling is going to be high intensity. 2 matches are going to be high intensity.
I imagine those matches will start the show. It's safe to say, I think. And then the final match will be like much later on, like probably second to last, maybe.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I like the Continental Classic. At the beginning of the thing, I always go, what is this again? What's going on? But then, 2-3 matches in, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is kind of fun. I like the tournament format. I like the point format. I like it. It's like their version of the G1. I think it's great. I think it's a great concept. It's just new, and they kind of change it up a little bit, and it's like, all right, what's going on this year, But the more they do it, the longer it lasts. I think it'll be a good yearly thing. Especially with they have World's End established as like a pay-per-view. Like if that it starts every year around, November or whatever, and then it'll end at World's End, you kind of have a season for it, and you can look forward to it and know, like, oh, okay, this is what they do. But this is only like the second World's End pay-per-view, right? So we're not used to it yet. But I think over the years, as we do get used to it, hopefully it continues. It'll be a real good thing for pro wrestling. It'll be fun. I like it. I am pro Continental Classic. I hope they continue it forever and ever.
Well, the only thing I would change is that I think they need more top tier talent in this, because like there's a clear like definition of like who's the top talent and the bottom tier. Like you could tell like who's gonna possibly go on and like who has no chance whatsoever. Like, and it really sucks for someone like Commander who inherited a loss before he even started. So you knew he wasn't going to win much anyways, but then he's already down before he even starts. But like, you know, I like Mark Briscoe, but we both know he's not going to win it. He's just there to help put guys over.
Sure, but okay, so Mark Briscoe and Beast Mordo's probably not winning it, you know, and you didn't think they were going to win at the beginning. But look at the rest of the Blue League. You got Okada in there, Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's in the lead, not Okada. I don't think you would have predicted that. You got Daniel Garcia in there, and you yourself just said, well, I don't know who's going to be second place, Okada or Garcia. Probably Okada, but you're not 100% sure, and I'm not either.
Right. No,
like,
you're right.
I don't think it's bad. You know, you talk about top-tier talent. Okada's in there. Kyle Fletcher's a guy they're trying to get over. Shelton is, you know, one of your favorites. You love Shelton. He's a guy that's new and, you know, a former WWE guy with a name. On the other side, you got Darby Allin, you got Claudio, you got Will Ospreay, you got Ricochet. I mean, those are some top names for AEW right now. I think they have good talent in this thing. You got Ospreay, Okada, and Darby in the tournament. I mean, those are some top guys in AEW. Who's better than those guys?
No, you're right. I just feel that everyone should almost be like a top contender almost. And I feel like they have ones that are clearly like there's no chance. But I'll give credit's due. Like I didn't expect much from Claudio this year, and Claudio still is up there. Still not impossible. I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he'll even make the pay-per-view, but he's still up there at least.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you have all of your top-tier talent in it, John, then, you know, your world champion has nothing to do. Like, Hangman is not in it. Jay White is not in it. Orange Cassidy is not in it. And I think there's a reason they're not in it. It's because they're, you know, feuding for the world title. You still need some of your top-tier talent to be doing other things to fill up, you know, the rest of the card. It can't be all, you know, I don't think you put all your eggs in the Continental Classic basket. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you're going to have so many championships, you better be able to pull this off. So that's on them for having so many titles. If you're going to do this, you better have the talent to back it up. So, and maybe don't put so many people in the world title match instead. Maybe just have a one-on-one. Like, just save one guy to face the world champion. Instead of like, well, we don't have a big top guy, so we'll just put a bunch of guys in instead. Something to work on next year.
Okay. You're passionate. I'll go with it. FTR, they're very passionate. They're talking about returning to Asheville, North Carolina on the 1st of January for Dynamite. And they're going to have a match against the Death Riders. So that'll be Moxley and Pac, or Moxley and Claudio, or Moxley and Wheeler, or Wheeler. I mean, I don't know who.
What I would like to see, I don't know if we're going to see it at all, but I think this would be a good match, is that we would have Mark Briscoe with FTR against the Death Riders for the trios titles. I think that should happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not building towards that for that show. But I think for the pay-per-view, that's what the match should be.
Are they doing a pay-per-view match?
Probably not, because Mark Briscoe's in the Continental Classic, right? So they're not going to distract guys from that. Maybe he'll actually win it. Maybe Claudio will win it, right? So they won't distract that to possible other pay-per-view matches, which is unfortunate because I think that'd be a good match. It should happen one day, that match.
Well, couldn't they book that on, say, the 25th of, well, I guess they don't have a show that week. No, they're going to air a show, I think, on Christmas. They're recording it on the 22nd. Like, couldn't they book that match? Because by the time you're like 3 days away from the pay-per-view, you know Claudio and Mark Briscoe are out of it.
Claudio's still close, though. Like, I wouldn't say he's out of it yet. Like,
No, but I mean, if he loses another match, say,
right.
which he could lose on the 18th. Like, he could lose a match next week on Rampage or Dynamite or whatever, and, like, you could free him up. Where point-wise, mathematically, he couldn't do it. So to book him in another match, in another feud, you could do that for the pay-per-view. But I think they're building towards the FTR versus Death Riders match in North Carolina, and that'll be the kind of start of whatever they're doing, even if they're not doing anything. Maybe just be one and done for that match, just because they're in their hometown.
Well, remember last year when they did a World's End, and I thought this was a bad match last year. I don't know if you liked it or not. They put everyone who lost in like a big tag match against each other. Remember that? Like Brian and Claudio teamed with, I think, with Garcia. And I think it was Mark Briscoe, actually, in like an 8-man tag or something. I think Brody King was against them as well. I want to say Roosh was as well. Like they did that. All the losers just face each other in a big tag match. I hope they don't do that this year. We don't really need that. It doesn't really do anything having that match.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, there you go. Big reason why.
Not memorable. I'll tell you what was memorable. Toni Storm. She showed up at the end of Dynamite. That was cool. It was not timeless Toni Storm either. It was like old-time Toni Storm. The original Toni Storm with the backwards baseball hat and the sunglasses and the, the whole look. It was old theme music and everything. She came out and just kind of stood there. After Mariah May beat Mina Shirakawa in the main event, Toni Storm made her return to AEW. And everybody was shocked because it was not timeless Toni Storm. What's going on? I'm intrigued. She's a very interesting performer, She takes you on twists and turns. The evolving character, it's really good. She's done a very good job at the character work. And in the ring, like, she's just so great. She's one of the top talents in professional wrestling. It's great to see her back. And I'm really interested in, like, oh, okay, she's not the timeless Toni Storm here? What's going on? What is this? So I'm interested, It's got me hooked where I go, well, what's she going to say? What's the deal? So next week, whatever, when we see her again, it's like, oh, what's the deal with Toni Storm? She's great. So I was happy to see her back. I'm a big fan. She's, whatever she's in, she elevates. So it's a segment on AEW TV where I can go, yep, this will be good. Toni Storm knows what she's doing. It's somebody you can depend on to entertain you.
I think it's either her or Ospreay. That's Wrestler of the Year for AEW. I think that's very easy to say. I think easily she's like the character of the year for AEW. She had the feud of the year in AEW easily.
Yeah.
So I think there's a great argument for Wrestler of the Year overall.
Yeah.
She was involved in the most. She did the most matches, I feel like. She's wrestling on Rampage tonight. She's doing Collision tomorrow. She's involved all the time.
Wow. I didn't know she was wrestling tonight. That's great.
Yeah. Well, it's smart. I know some people complain about it. It's like, oh, like, why waste it on Rampage? Like, you have a top talent that wants to wrestle. Like, put them on the show so people watch. To me, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And also, like we haven't gone back to that yet. And I think that's what people really want to see. That's probably going to be saved for a big event that's going to happen, I think. I think maybe she's lost her mind or something, or whatever happened. That big loss to Mariah has kind of changed her, where maybe she thinks she's starting over again, and this is her way of coping with that. I'm sure they'll explain it on Dynamite in some capacity. We'll find out.
Yeah. There'll be some sort of explanation, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I like Toni Storm. I'm there for the ride. I'm there to watch, whatever she does. So I really enjoyed that. All right, Johnny. Enough of this AEW nonsense. What's going on in WWE world?
Well, we got
Nothing?
the big Saturday night's main event, right? That's happening tomorrow. Like Saturday night's main event is back, so everyone's old school again.
Right. That's happening.
They're bringing back a lot of legends. Not Ted DiBiase though. He will not be there. They've advertised him, but he won't be there.
Okay. So who will be there?
I think they said Tio Santana is going to be there. I want to say, was it Coco Beware is going to be there as well? And was Sergeant Slaughter going to be there? There's a bunch. Greg the Hammer Valentine, I believe, as well. And maybe Jimmy Hart.
Okay. Just hanging around.
Sweet. Well, you know what the legend segments are, right? They're just happen to bump into them backstage. Oh, well, Jimmy Hart's there, like it'll be like Chelsea Green just walking into Jimmy Hart,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baby.
Okay. Finn Bálor is like going after Gunther, trying to get the world title. What's going on there?
I didn't mind the opening segment for Raw this week. I mean, it wasn't as good as last week, but I thought the opening segment was actually not too bad. Everywhere else, it may have went off the bridge a little bit, but at least this helped set up Priest to be in the triple threat match now at Saturday night's main event. I thought it did the job well. The promo was not the greatest, but the segment achieved what it needed to achieve.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not really sure what's going on, though. Are Gunther and Priest on the same side?
No. Like, they did that very well, where they all hit each other. Like, Damian hit Ben hit Gunther hit, like, it all works out. And it's better this way. Like, heel versus heel, like, just Finn against Gunther. I don't know about you. I wasn't very excited to watch that. And I feel like the crowd would be kind of dead for that anyways. But when you put Damian in there and he's got to fight against two heels, I think that's far more intriguing.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's what they're working towards. Seth Rollins and CM Punk both cut promos on each other. Punk talking about Seth and saying that he was entitled and he wanted Punk to train him for free. When Seth was 16, he wanted to get training from Punk, and Punk was like, come on. And he doesn't like Seth, and then Seth says, Punk is lying, and Punk is changing the story, and Punk, he's a bad guy because when he left the WWE, he thought they were friends, but then he didn't accept his calls, and he never heard from him again, and then he said all these bad things about the WWE while he was gone, and then he came back just for the money. And, yeah, all those things are accurate.
No.
What do you mean?
Well, first off, he said a bunch of half-truths. When did he ever disprove his half-truths in the whole speech? Did he ever disprove any of it?
Oh, Punk, you
what
mean?
Punk
Like,
said.
Seth said that what Punk was saying was a half-truth, and he never really countered any of Punk's arguments. Yeah, I guess.
So, like, what the heck? And, oh no, he didn't talk to me. What a horrible human being. Like, he ghosted me. After, they fired him on his wedding day. What a horrible human being he is to never talk to me. For a company
Well,
I'll
Seth
still work
isn't
for.
WWE. He just works for them.
Oh, he just works for, yeah. What a horrible human being, Punk, not to talk to people that works for a company that fired him on his wedding day. Such a terrible human being, Punk is. Like,
Okay. But
and
what about,
people are cheering for
Seth
Punk.
being a loyal WWE soldier and Punk talking trash about WWE all those years? I mean, there's a point there.
sure,
He did
there's a
come,
point
like,
there.
him coming back, it's kind of like, well, what about all those things you said about the company? Oh, it's different now.
He did say a lot of things about the company. There's no denying that. He definitely said it. And I don't think he really feels bad about it, but, what was said, and they move on for the good of the business. But I don't think Punk really needs the money, man. You really think like he was starving for cash? I think it's good for him for his legacy, to end out on a high note instead of a low note, like he was going to. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was starving for cash, but I think he saw an opportunity to make some before his body, wasn't able to anymore physically, like just in the ring.
Well, I think a lot of people, Nick Khan saw it too. Like, they're just
Sure.
like, hey, this makes sense. Why not? Survivor Series in Chicago?
Yeah.
The stars aligned.
I mean, he makes pro wrestling better being in it, whether it's in AEW or WWE. Like, whatever you may think about him, whatever, it's not relevant to me. I find him supremely entertaining. He had one of the best matches of the year in that Hell in a Cell. He's an incredible talent. His promos are great for the most part. They haven't been so great lately, but they've been good. They just haven't been CM Punk level great, But in the ring, just overall as a character, he's one of the most compelling guys they have on the roster. Even if he's not saying that much, like his backstage with Jackie Redmond this week was like, whatever. It was kind of basic. It wasn't amazing. But even if it's kind of whatever, it's still something you kind of have to watch on Raw. Like whatever CM Punk is doing, you have to pay attention because it's interesting. He's one of the most interesting guys on their whole roster. So I'm happy he's around. But, it is what it is. I love him. I find him ridiculous, quite frankly. I find him a little crazy. Just like, what? Some of the things he does and says, I go, come on, leave it alone. But he doesn't. And he's great. So it's fine. It's part of what makes him great. So he is not wrestling at Saturday night's main event. Sami Zayn is. Sami and Seth had his whole promo about how Punk is bringing the worst out of him. And Seth is like, oh, you're becoming just like Drew McIntyre, Sami. And Sami's like, no, don't call me Drew. Not that. And I was like, what the fuck? That promo was a little weird. The Sami Seth stuff was like, all right, guys, we're still talking.
Yeah, not the greatest right there for Sami. It was kind of, but he puts himself in that kind of position where he's kind of got to be the awkward guy, and that didn't look. He didn't look too good in that, sadly.
No, it's a little cringy.
He's gonna take a loss too. I don't see him beating Drew. This is Drew's comeback match, and I think they're gonna start giving Drew a big push here. So Sami's definitely taking a big he might just run right through Sami too, the way it's looking.
Drew McIntyre was on Raw and also on SmackDown this week. Drew McIntyre attacked Jimmy Uso.
Coming back against the Bloodline.
Yeah, he's going after the Bloodline guys, right? He's going after Jimmy. He's going after Sami. He doesn't like Jay. Didn't he attack Jay, right? He was the one who attacked Jay on Raw.
Did they ever fully admit that? I mean,
I think he admitted
taking
that.
the hood off. Did he admit? I mean, it makes sense. He took the hood off. Why would he take a hood off?
Yeah.
Like it just has to be him.
Yeah. He was the one who attacked Jay. Like, he hates all those guys. At some point he's going to make his way to Roman. Cool.
I don't know if it's a match we need to see, but
No.
Sure, whatever. I mean, it's fine for a match. Not a WrestleMania match, but it's a match to do, I guess, at some point.
Drew McIntyre attacking... I'm not sure who this guy was to cut the promo in the ring. The guy on the crutch? Big Jim, I think his name is.
Jimmy Uso, you mean that he attacked?
Oh. I don't know. He kept referring to himself as Big Jim. Everybody keeps saying to me, Big Jim, what you gonna do next? Big Jim, what we doing? Big Jim, what's happening? I'm Big Jim. Everybody knows me. They call me Big Jim. And I'm like, Big Jim? Who's calling you Big Jim? Where's this Big Jim? He's like, everybody's coming up to me saying, Big Jim, what's next? And I go, no one has ever referred to you're Jimmy Uso. No one says Big Jim. I doubt anyone has come up to you and said, Big Jim, let me ask you a question. It was just weird. His whole promo, it was bizarre. All that Big Jim stuff. And did you notice that he was looking sideways for like half the promo, and then somebody told him to look at the hard cam. And then even when he started looking at the hard cam, he was kind of looking this way at the hard cam. Like he couldn't kind of do the thing where you look at the hard cam like every other guy cutting promos in the ring. That he's worked for WWE for how long? And he wasn't looking at the hard cam for his in-ring promo? He seemed off tonight. He seemed like the demons were creeping in. That's honestly, John.
Wow.
Like, I'm not kidding. I was watching that with my brother going, is he okay? Because his speech was like a little slurred. He was looking the wrong way. He was talking, just kind of going around and round in circles. Big Jim, Big Jim. And then that part where he's like, I'm proud of my brother Jay. I'm proud of my brother Solo. And the crowd's like, boo. And he's like, well, I might not like what he's doing, but I'm proud of him. And I'm like, are you supposed to say that at this point? And like, it felt like he was just kind of going on off the cuff. It was odd. It was odd. Like, I'm not saying he was under the influence, but he didn't appear himself. It was a weird promo. How do you not look at the hard cam? Just the fact that the guy's like hobbling into the ring with his broken toe, whatever, cutting a rambling promo and looking the wrong way when he's been in the company forever. I think Big Jim's got something going on. Yeet.
Yeah, I like to believe that he got thrown off because it's the whole Yeet thing. That's one. Because he said you got the wrong twin. He said that, right? So he's trying to sell the whole Big Jim that they would chant for that. And he was really trying to push it hard. I agree with you. It was kind of nonsensical at some points. But I feel like that's just the way he talks sometimes. And like I feel like the Usos have always kind of been like that. So I just took that as normal.
More.
But maybe you caught something I didn't catch. I like to believe that it wasn't that bad. And like I like to believe that someone would have caught that and not have him gone out there in that capacity or that state. But maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't want to go down those accusations, but maybe it's
how does he not know to look at the hard cam? Like, he had to be told. And you could see somebody telling him because he goes, and then he turns.
Right. Well, how many times has it just been Jimmy Uso in a ring by himself kind of promo?
Does it matter? Every other time when he's standing behind Roman, he's just standing straight looking at the hard cam the whole time. He's done it a million times, dude. No. Don't fuck with me on this. Like, come on. It was weird. You don't think that was weird? You don't think the way he was not looking at the camera was a little weird? He wouldn't look straight into the camera. Why not? It was weird.
He made a mistake there. I just don't want to believe it's for the reasons that you're believing here,
okay.
Eventually.
Okay. Go back and watch it. Watch it again, thinking what I just told you. Watch it again. Tell me you don't think something was up. That was a weird-ass promo.
Well, not as weird as, like, if he called, like, his wife Naoma. Like, I don't know if you caught that one.
Naoma. Yeah, it was Candice LeRae called her Naoma.
Yeah.
I think that's the newest movie from Disney. You hear Michael Cole not able to say the word Disney tonight on the show? They promoted some Disney movie like 6 times, and every single time Michael Cole said, Disney. It's Disney. He goes, Disney.
Yeah. Disney,
I'm like, what? It's not Dasani water. It's Disney. But the newest movie from Disney is Naoma. It's a good one. It stars The Rock. It's going to be great.
And eventually the Lion King that we saw during a match, which is like wonderful. Like, why watch wrestling when you can just watch a movie trailer instead?
I don't know why. I don't know why you would. I mean, when the wrestling is this bad, like the Michin Tiffany Stratton match was, I mean, the finish was so awful. Commentary didn't even know what to do. They didn't know what to do.
What can you? She just didn't sell the finish, or like Tiffany's moonsault, just no sold it, got up and gave her finish, which wasn't as impressive as getting moonsaulted, but whatever.
Tiffany grabs her up on her shoulders, does like a front roll, drops her, jumps on the ropes to go to do the moonsault. But I think what happened was Michin was too far away from her.
Yeah.
And if Tiffany did the moonsault, Tiffany's legs would have just landed like feet down on Michin. So Michin tried to get closer because she was supposed to roll like into it away, into the corner, right?
Right.
But
You're supposed to.
she rolled and she didn't roll far enough, so she just took the moonsault that she was supposed to avoid. So instead of rolling once and then rolling twice to get out of the way, she just rolls once, gets completely in the way when she could have just rolled the other way and avoided it altogether. But that's not what she did. She rolled into it, took the moonsault fully. Michael Cole goes, Tiffany hits her with the moonsault. And Corey Graves, knowing that that's not what's supposed to happen, goes, I don't know if she hit all of it there. And then Michin gets up immediately after taking Tiffany's finisher moonsault. She no-sells it completely, hits her like puts her foot in Tiffany's face and then takes a bump, and that's supposed to be a finisher. And then pins her 1, 2, 3 to go to the finals of the U.S. title tournament. It was unbelievable. It was so bad. And then Michael Cole was like, oh, I don't think she actually did hit all of it on second thought. You're like, dude, come on.
No replay of the moonsault, by the way.
Nope. They showed a replay of the finish, just the boot finisher from Michin. They did not show the replay where Michin took Tiffany's finisher and no-sold it. Horrible. It was horrible. I mean, the botch was bad, but the fact that they went immediately into the finish. They didn't even go, oh, maybe we should sell and kind of try something again or whatever. No, they're just like, That's the finish of the match. That's the semifinals for the tournament for the new belt. Michin can't win the belt. She can't. This was awful. This was her fault. Like, Tiffany dropped her a little too far, but come on. Get out of the way of the moonsault. Figure it out. You're getting out of the way. You got to get out of the way. It's Michin's fault. She didn't get out of the way. She can't be the champion. It's Chelsea time.
Well, I mean, you went from a match where you could have had Bayley against Tiffany, and now you're going to get Michin against Chelsea Green. I question that booking, and I question the booking order of this, where you had that match first, right? It was Tiffany and it was Michin, where I feel the crowd was very much like 60-40 for Tiffany, actually. I feel like they were cheering for Tiffany more than Michin. So, given that, like, it should have been Bayley and Chelsea first, because clearly people wanted Bayley to win. Bayley was more the face in that one. So have that match first where Bayley loses, and then you have a match where, well, the fans will be happy either way. But no, they didn't do that. And of course, the Bayley that's a mess of match too. The Bayley and Chelsea match.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, the finish there wasn't great.
Well, the lack of logic too. Like, Piper pulls out Chelsea right in front of the referee. Apparently, that's not a DQ anymore. You can just pull people out of the ring. Like,
As long as they're your friend.
I didn't realize that was a thing that you could do that, but apparently, no fault on that one.
Yeah, Bayley was going to go for her elbow drop finish. Piper pulls Chelsea out of the ring to avoid it. Bayley drops the elbow on Piper instead outside the ring. Then Chelsea pushes Bayley over the barricade. Bayley almost gets counted out, comes back in the ring, takes a running kick, and then the unprettier for the win. Chelsea just beats Bayley. Not quite clean, but clean-ish. And it'll be Chelsea versus Michin for the Women's U.S. Championship. The first ever Women's U.S. Champion will be crowned tomorrow night at Saturday night's main event. And I'm hoping it is the great Canadian Chelsea Green.
So you're going to have 3 heels as singles women's champion.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not wrong, but I question a lot of this. I mean, was the charity of all this really worth it? I don't know if it was in the end, but we have to sit through it regardless.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what's going on, John.
You didn't like it.
Well, whatever. What about the tag titles? I'm more interested in the tag titles than the U.S. title right now because I like what Naomi is doing, slipping her way as the new tag team champion without ever winning the belts.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm starting to think Naomi was the reason why Jade got attacked now. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Now, I have a theory. So, Jade Cargill was attacked mysteriously a few weeks ago. And Brutus Magnet, Nick Aldis, wants Bianca to give up the championships, the tag team titles, because, she doesn't have a tag team partner. And Bianca doesn't want to do this, and Naomi's there, so she volunteers to be Bianca's tag team partner. And Nick Aldis then agrees to it, and next week they're going to defend the tag team titles against, I think, is it Nia Jax and Candice LeRae?
That's correct.
Right. So now Naomi is like one half of the tag team champions all of a sudden. I don't know how this works when Jade Cargill comes back from injury, but so far, Naomi is a tag team champion. So my theory on this is Bayley and Naomi took out Jade Cargill. Okay?
I don't think Bayley did it, but okay.
Okay, but this is the theory that I think would be really great, John, and hilarious, and would create a good feud in the women's tag team division. Bayley and Naomi are the ones that took out Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Bayley did it so she could get into War Games.
Yeah.
Okay. Naomi did it so she could trick Bianca into making her tag team partner. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once Naomi is in as one half of the tag team champions, because they can't beat Jade and Naomi and Bianca. They know that. They couldn't beat them in a tag team match. They couldn't beat them one-on-one. They can't beat them. So this is a way to do it. You take out Jade Cargill, you slip in as Bianca's new tag team partner. Then, at some point when Bianca's back is turned, Naomi and Bayley, they attack Bianca as well, take her out, and then, Naomi now is tag team champion, and she needs a tag team partner, and here's Bayley to step in, and all of a sudden, it's like a hostile takeover of the tag team championships, where Bayley and Naomi have orchestrated this massive conspiracy to take over the tag team titles. Because if Naomi has done it now, say Naomi is the one who attacked Jade, and she did it to take this tag team title spot, couldn't Bayley be involved in it too? Couldn't it be like a big master plan? I think that would be fantastic. We've never seen that in wrestling before.
I think after the fact, I think Naomi, this is the way I would do it, is Naomi did it all, like took out Jade, wanted the spot, wanted the title, and all that, and actually wanted to work with Bianca and all that. But then once she found out, she sided with Jade, obviously, and then Naomi goes for Bayley for help. And at first, Bayley's like, I don't know about this. But then, all along, whatever, Bayley helps him out. And then we get a tag match for WrestleMania. Bayley, Naomi against Jade and Bianca, I think, for the titles.
I think there's a lot you can do there. And I like that Naomi is the one to have mysteriously attacked Jade Cargill, if indeed it is Naomi. It would make sense because she is, of course, the daughter-in-law of Rikishi. And I'm pretty sure Naomi did it for the people. Did it for The Rock.
Oh, she's gonna say she did it for Bianca. Possibly, she could
I
say
did
that.
it for Bianca. I did it, but she's got to say I did it for the people. I did it for Bianca. Come on.
Fingers crossed that you get the people part, but yeah,
I did
but
it for the
idea.
people. I did it for Bianca. Classic. LA Knight wrestled Solo Sikoa tonight. He beat Solo Sikoa when Jacob Fatu attacked him. It was a disqualification. And then the Bloodline started attacking LA after the match. And then Andrade and Apollo Crews came out to try and help LA. It didn't work. And they got beat down too. I really liked LA's promo before the match. Says he's like, I don't care about the Ufalafa, whatever the hell you got. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about your necklace. Your necklace got in my way. So I'm going to kick your big fat ass tonight. I was like, damn, LA Knight's going hard. Roman Reigns had just cut this promo about the Ula Fala meaning everything to me and how it's important, and we're going to have this big match for the Ula Fala to determine who the real tribal chief is. And then LA Knight is in there 2 segments later like, I don't care about no Ufalafa. Get this Ufalafa out of my face. I'm like, damn, LA Knight. Really disrespecting everything Roman Reigns holds dear. I mean, he was disrespecting Solo in the promo, but at the same time, he's just disrespecting the tribal chief. So I like it. I like the edge from LA Knight tonight. I like the direction with him getting involved in the bloodline. That's top of the card stuff. I was a little disappointed that he lost the U.S. title, but it feels like it was not a punishment. It is an ascension up the card, which is good because I like him. He's talented. That promo is one of the most entertaining things that happened on SmackDown. I liked LA Knight's promo way more than I like Roman Reigns' promo. I'll tell you that much. It was more entertaining. Ufalafa? Hilarious.
Well, I just like the promo felt like more like a wrestling promo where Roman Reigns felt like he was applying for acting school. So
Yep.
that's nice if he likes that, and people like that kind of entertainment for the wrestling promos. But I like LA Knight style more, and yeah, I thought the match was fine too. Like I didn't mind it. I just feel like the 6-man though, I'm not very excited to see that match though. I don't know about you, like the new bloodline against like Andrade, Apollo Crews, and LA Knight. Like that's not, you say top tier, like
How is that his backup?
not great. It's not great, man. I'm not
Terrible
looking forward to
backup.
that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Roman Reigns did a promo at a marina for some reason. Why was he with boats? Him and Heyman just come back from a fishing trip? Like, what is this?
Something different because they already did one in a football stadium, right? And they did one in a parking lot too, didn't they, as well? Or they did one backstage. So
Yeah.
it's new scenery. Got to change it up.
Anyways, it was a cinematic acting promo from Roman. The thing that came out of it, though, was he challenged Solo to this match, Tribal Combat, for the Raw premiere on Netflix January 6th. So we have a first big match, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Tribal Combat, January 6th on Netflix for the Ula Fala, for the Tribal Chiefdom, for all of this. And this could be where The Rock shows up and attacks. Like this would be a good spot for The Rock to be involved in. I think he's going to be on the first Netflix show. You know, I think this is where he shows up.
Well, since they're doing this match, I don't think they're going to do Punk and Seth, because that was the rumor also, right, for Raw, that they're doing that. But, like, they're going to have those 2 matches on the same show. Like, I have a hard time believing Roman and Solo is not the main event, though.
They might stack that show, man. It's Netflix.
What?
It's the debut. It's going to be big.
Unless, like, you have Punk and Rollins start the show, which is possible, too. But to me, like, I think it's almost like 100% Roman and Solo, that's your main event for the first episode on Netflix.
Yeah. They announced it already. Like, they're building the show around this match.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Like, that's a good main event. So definitely we'll get people watching for that.
Yeah. Roman Reigns. I mean, he doesn't wrestle on Raw or SmackDown.
Wow, think about when was the last time he had a match on Raw? It's been years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a big deal. Cody Rhodes, WWE Champion, cut a promo in the ring. And then Kevin Owens showed up on the screen from his car and said Cody is as bad a friend as he is a son and a brother. And no matter how many championships he wins, it won't matter because he was more entertaining as Stardust, which I thought was hilarious. And Kevin Owens also, during this whole thing, was wearing a Stardust t-shirt, which was great. And then Cody has heard enough, and he goes to find Kevin Owens. He didn't like that Stardust crack. And Kevin finds him first, attacks Cody from behind, and they brawl backstage, and they go through Gorilla and then back into the arena and into the ring, and security and refs are trying to stop them. And then eventually Kevin hits Cody with the title belt and leaves him laying. And that was how SmackDown ended tonight. And they have a big match tomorrow night, Saturday night's main event for the WWE Championship. The whole show built around this one. You know, I think Cody's going to retain his championship. I think the match will be good. But in the end, it'll be Cody over Kevin tomorrow. I'm not expecting anything unbelievable out of this show. I don't think we see anything crazy. I think
Well, you're getting
no
a new champion,
title
right?
changes. No title changes. I think, we'll have a new champion there with the U.S. champion. You'll have either Michin or Chelsea Green as the first champion. But other than that, the card tomorrow night, Cody Rhodes defending WWE title against Kevin Owens. I think Cody retains. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Gunther defending the World Heavyweight title against Finn Bálor and Damian Priest in a triple threat. Liv Morgan defending the Women's World title against IYO SKY. And then Michin and Chelsea Green.
Well, I'm just seeing our ticker right now. They tape SmackDown tonight for next week?
Yes.
Wow. So you already know about that tag team title situation that we kind of mentioned already. That already, I guess, went down. So Bayley had to wrestle twice.
Bayley had to wrestle twice? Why?
Well, because she wrestled on SmackDown tonight, and she's wrestling already again because she has to wrestle next week in that tag, right? Oh, no, wait, I'm wrong. It's not.
No, it's
because she's
Naomi.
we haven't done that yet. Bianca's still her tag partner for now.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not there yet. I don't know if it'll ever even get there, John.
We'll see.
I'm trying to get a spoiler SmackDown spoilers. Give it to me. I want to know. Bloodline.
The 6-man that we kind of just talked about. It's funny. We just talked about a bunch of stuff, and it's already happened. It's crazy.
Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are still cutting promos on each other.
Oh, I expected this to go to the Rumble. I didn't know about you. Like, regardless who won or lost.
This is a nothing show.
I mean, tape shows usually are.
They are doing the 6-man tag next week. LA Knight, Apollo Crews, Andrade against the new Bloodline.
There you go. LA wrestled twice, so we'll wrestle twice.
Yeah, they're doing that next week. They're doing Gargano versus
DIY
Alex
against
Shelley.
Yeah. Oh, just singles?
Yeah. Grayson Waller effect with Braun Strowman. And it looks like Naomi and Bianca against Candice and Nia is the main event for SmackDown next week. This looks like a terrible show.
That's usual. Tape shows aren't good, especially SmackDown for whatever reason. It's usually not very good. I mean, it's a limited roster, so what can they really do?
I don't know. Not much. I think the big show is tomorrow, Saturday night's main event. Johnny, let's get some predictions in here. I got Cody over Kevin, right?
We might be completely
Yeah.
accurate on all, or just like completely the same here. Because Cody over Kevin. Yeah,
I mean, I think I can give you my predictions and your predictions, and I think they'll be exactly the same. And they'll probably be 100% correct. So Cody Rhodes is going to beat Kevin Owens tomorrow night, retain the WWE title. Drew McIntyre is going to beat Sami Zayn. Gunther is going to retain his world title over Finn Bálor and Damian Priest.
Yep.
Liv Morgan is going to beat IYO SKY and hold on to the women's world title.
That's right.
And Chelsea Green is going to beat Michin to become the new women's United States champion.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
There you go. Saturday night's main event. We've predicted everything. We agree on everything. Seems pretty simple. You know. I'm not very excited for this show. It's not. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I don't think they're going to do that much.
Are we doing a post show tomorrow?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
Nah, man. This is like a TV. This is like a glorified Raw. It's like this is a TV show with, a couple title matches on it. But it's really like it's like a mixed brand Raw SmackDown super show. It's not like a real deal. Stuff is not going to happen until January. Like, until they debut on Netflix, they're not going to do anything. Nothing major is going to go down until Netflix.
No big Christmas match? You don't expect that?
Those aren't major. I don't think those mean much. Christmas match? Like, what do you...
Well, you thought it was a big deal when, like, John Cena had to save Santa. Like, it was a big deal for you a couple years ago.
Oh, my God. Raw in Boston Monday night. They're taping Raw for the following Monday, on Monday. So, a lot of tape shows coming up here.
Well, I mean, that's good for the roster overall that they get to spend the holidays with their families, so that's good.
Yes. Monday is their last work day until the 27th. So they get like 10 days off. They get the 17th to the 27th off, technically. I mean, the 27th is a work day. They get like 8-9 days off. It's not bad.
It used to be a lot worse, right, for guys that had to wrestle.
Wait,
every
do
day
they, though? I think they're doing a holiday tour, though, aren't they?
I think it starts on like the 26th, 27th, no?
Hold on, let me tell you when they're working. Because I feel like... Okay, you're right. It starts on the 26th. So, yeah, they'll get, a week and a half. They'll get like 8 days.
That's major.
They're at MSG on the 26th. And in Jacksonville, Florida. Like, they're double booked. They got 2 shows. Like, on the 27th on the Friday, they're doing a live event in Pittsburgh and then a SmackDown in Tampa. They're doing live events in 2 places at once. Split roster shows. December 28th, the Saturday. 1 in Orlando, 1 in Baltimore. 29th, 1 in Miami, 1 in Chicago. 30th, 1 in Detroit, 1 in Houston. It's a Raw in Houston and a live event in Detroit. And then that'll be it. That's the end of the holiday tour. From the 26th to the 30th. It's not that much. But it's kind of like they give you a break, but then they work you a little bit extra when you come back. Right?
Well, and the 28th, that's up against the AEW pay-per-view, too. Like, they're both in Orlando on the same day for that.
Wow. WWE is doing a live event in Orlando the same day as World's End AEW show in Orlando. At the same time. They're running competing shows in the same town? Who's selling more tickets? Yeah. Who's selling more tickets? The AEW pay-per-view or the WWE live event?
Well, I think as of now, because usually WWE is really good at the pre-sales, right? Mm-hmm. But AEW is very good at the late, last-minute sales. So I think it's going to depend on capacity. Like, if WWE is not selling for a big crowd, AEW might have the advantage because they usually get like 10K roughly for their pay-per-views, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the capacity for the WWE house show? Like, if it's
Probably a
under
bigger
10
building. The Kia
Yeah,
Center.
but if they only set it up for like less than 10,000, AEW has a shot if that's the case.
It's a 20,000 seat arena. Yeah, if the
Did they
live
set-
event sells better than the pay-per-view, that's...
I mean, it very well could. I mean, let's think about this. This is almost their home in Orlando, right? WWE?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of should. But again, will they set it up for... I don't think they'll set it up for 20,000, though.
The capacity... Yeah, it's a 9,000... 90... It's like a 10,000 seat arena. It's half the size.
Okay.
They're doing a small building
Okay.
for the pay-per-view. It does not look impressive. This is not a great building. Wow, this looks low rent. Yep. So
Wait
they
and
are
see. I
running.
mean, think about the fans, though. Like, the fan base there. Like, so many thousands in both buildings.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big demand.
I'd
The
go to
wrestling.
the AEW pay-per-view.
Because of the card, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pay-per-view. WWE's going to give you a live event. Like, come on. I don't know. I mean, the WWE name is bigger and all, but if I'm a wrestling fan, I'm picking an AEW pay-per-view over a WWE live event. I'd love to go to both, but crazy. All right, Johnny, when can people see you in the ring?
Well, again, I'm not in the ring until January 18th. I'm just watching movies in the meantime.
Okay. Did you want to do a
Watch-
review or, I mean,
I have a review if we have some time, yes.
I don't think we have time. I think we're out of time.
Can make some time. Just listen to hear me talk about a movie that I watched that was very R-rated and very gory.
Okay, if you insist.
Cool. Playing the song. Play the little theme. Da, 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 da. Hey, there used to be like sound effects there. No, there's no sound effects, just me. That's cool. You get to see me now. So yeah, I mentioned it, and the thing covers me up again. There we go. Still no music, but that's all right. My big
Fuck your
film
music.
review. Classic way to start this. So, I told you guys last week I was going to go watch the movie Kraven the Hunter. And this is part of the whole Sony Marvel universe.
Yeah,
And it
this
plays
from
into
That's
the whole...
So Craven with Craven Simone.
That's correct. Yes, you remember from last week. And I told
That's
you
So
last
Craven.
week- I told you last week as well that this movie took a while to come out, many delays. And apparently this was supposed to come out January of 2023 and got pushed back to December 12th. Or no, December 13th actually is when it came out. And their belief was just the timing was better on the holidays. They said it would sell better. They wanted to hype up the main actor. I don't know if you know who Aaron Taylor Johnson is.
I know Aaron Taylor. I went to high school
Okay.
with Aaron Taylor. Good man.
Well, I don't think you didn't
He's
see
my
the
buddy.
movie Nowhere Boy, did you? Or did you hear about the Beatles movie?
Nowhere Man? It's a song, isn't it?
No. Well, there's a Nowhere Boy. There's a
He's
movie that
a
came out.
real nowhere man. Do 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 da da da. Classic.
To life, so he became half human, half like lion. So he's half a monster practically. So I knew you would love that part of the story.
He
And
became
instead of,
half human, half lion.
Like he still looked like a human, but he had the powers of like a lion.
Wow.
He could jump up like skyscrapers and everything. He could had the power. Like he was just so incredibly strong. He was pretty much just superhuman. I mean, think the Marvel universe, how these like superhumans exist, he pretty much became one of them in a sense.
He's an
His
X-Man.
own little- not an X-Men whatsoever, because he's very ruthless. Like his whole idea is he hunts down people, and he will brutally hunt down people.
He's a
The
bad
action
guy.
scenes,
Bad guy X-Man.
I mean, I would say like an anti-hero, right? Like I feel that's more what he was. Like he went after the poachers in a sense. And you probably wouldn't like this movie if you're a big like animal supporter. No
I
animals
like
were actually
animals.
harmed. If you like animal, no animals were actually harmed, which they said. I checked it at the end of the credits, but many brutal deaths from animals in this movie, and he makes the poachers pay in the end brutally. So you'll have that if you feel bad for the animals that get killed in this. Fake CGI ones, anyways.
This is about a evil half lion guy trying to get revenge on poachers. That's the movie. No wonder
starts
it
out
took
like
so long to make. People were like, "This sounds dumb. Let's not make this."
That's just the start of the movie, though. Then he gets involved with his whole family involved. His dad happens to be Russell Crowe, by the way. So if that helps you at all with this whole like fighting around the world kind of thing.
Cinderella Man.
And his brother gets kidnapped, so he tries to help out his brother. His dad doesn't want to help him out so much.
Yeah.
So it's a huge conflict with that, and him trying to save his brother, and conflicts with his father at the same time, and just being the superhuman man who just wants to destroy everyone in a very gory, ultra-violent way. Like he sets up like these bear traps and like just rips a person's head in half with the bear trap. Quite horrifying to watch. I mean, again, this is a rated R movie, so I know there's a lot of Spider-Man fans, but not your kids involved for this. Your kids are not going to be up for this, sadly. This is if you're waiting for that gruesome kind of Spider-Man universe kind of movie, this is it. I mean, the action scenes were definitely top notch. I enjoyed them very much so, but like you don't usually see these kind of graphic, bloody scenes because they try to make it that most families can watch. Most families should never watch this movie. Too violent, sadly.
I don't watch
But-
any of those Marvel movies with my kids. No DC, no Marvel. We don't watch that stuff here. You know me, John.
Well,
I'm not into that. I don't like it.
So you're fine with that. I had to tell a friend who's like, his son is a huge Spider-Man fan. So I had to tell him about that. And he really wanted to see Kraven the Hunter because like he's big into that. He knows about Kraven and all that and like his involvement in the Spider-Man whole universe. So I had to tell him like, look, like if you're going to do it, you have to go with him, one, because it's rated R. And, you know, just make sure maybe close his eyes at certain scenes because very, very violent. Very entertaining, but very violent.
Sounds like
And-
AEW.
Maybe in a sense, there's some tie-in a sense when you think about it. Now, if you remember last week, I had this idea of like, I wonder what someone would see like if you watch the movie just straight up, like the Trailer Park Boys movie, right? Like, I thought like just someone who didn't know anything about it, what the reaction would be to that, you know? So I was able to pull it off this week. Like I brought a friend, and they had no idea what Kraven was. They didn't even know like Spider-Man. They kind of had an idea about Spider-Man, but not too much, right? So they went in this like just blank slate, and they really enjoyed the movie. And they said like most of these kind of movies, especially like kind of complex story, they're kind of like, you know, I wouldn't be that interested, but they had enough hooks. There was enough interest, and obviously the action scenes helped a lot with that. But he gave it a thumbs up. So I have to say, like, for someone who doesn't know anything about Kraven, like if you don't know anything about it, you can still enjoy it for the action thriller that it is. For me, who's a bit more into Spider-Man, I give it more like a thumbs in the middle because there's some things that can be worked on in terms of CGI, not the greatest in the world. As we kind of mentioned already, the story, it's a little bit all over the place. Enjoyable, but don't expect the greatest movie in the world.
All right. There it is. The Kraven Hunter.
Well, yeah. The Kraven Hunter. I doubt you'll go see it. I doubt. Oh, well, there we go. At the end. Woo-hoo. That's a great way. And boom, right back to me again. Yeah. So I can go flex as well. That's a great way to end the whole segment right there. And
It's a great way to
send
end the
you.
show. End the show on
Let's end
Johnny.
the show too.
End the
That's
show
too
on
as
that,
well.
man. You
Maybe
see
we'll
enough
do
of
another
me.
review. Maybe we'll do another review next week. We could do another one next week too if you want. You could do it with me, Dave, actually, if you wanted to.
Why?
I was thinking about something.
What are
Why
you
not?
thinking about?
Because I don't know if you heard that. What's the movie called again? Red One with The Rock.
Oh, is that the Christmas one?
The Christmas one. It's on Amazon Prime. Like you have Prime, right?
Yeah.
So we could watch together and we could talk about it next week.
Is that a movie we could watch with kids?
Well, I haven't watched it yet, so I could tell you, and then you could watch it after me, and then
I'd watch that.
we could-
I saw
Cool.
a commercial for that. I was like, yeah, all right. Dwayne, what are you up to now, you crazy guy? Final boss! Stealing Christmas or whatever. Yeah, I want
He's trying to save Christmas, but yeah, sure.
stealing it, saving it, same thing. In the end, it all comes out the same. All right, guys. Thank you to Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. You're the super chat leader of the night, buddy. Thank you, friend.
Super duper. Like, are you
Super
Jimmy
duper.
Uso now?
Huh?
Getting slurry? Getting slurry with
Yeah,
your
Jimmy
words,
Uso.
Jimmy?
I'm going to do the rest of the show looking over here, okay? I just want to tell you that I've enjoyed doing this show with you, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everybody, even the bad guys. I'm proud of AJ. I don't agree with everything he's doing, but I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Johnny. Hey, man. Oh, you want me to look over here? Okay, I'll look over here. So as I was saying, I'll be back. Big Dave. Everybody says, Big Dave, what's next? When are you coming back, Big Dave? And I said, I'll come back when I feel like it. Yeet.
It's actually known to eat.
No yeet. Sorry, I forgot. No, for real, I'll be back Thursday night with Freddie and AJ, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be our last show of the year. So jump in. Okay?
Well, is that your Festivus episode, I guess, or
Yeah.
what?
Year in review, everything. Last show
So
of
you
the
have to
year
go-
coming up.
That means you.
Last
You have to
MMA
watch-
show of the last Ringside Report MMA show of the year coming up Thursday night, 8 p.m. And then we're taking a couple weeks off for the holidays.
Well, this is big though, because that means you have to watch the first episode of the year, and you have to tally up all your records, right, for the year. Isn't that supposed to happen?
What is
And you're supposed to
happening?
zoom in
Why am I
super
zooming
close,
in?
By the way,
All right,
Because you
I'm
need
getting
Dave
too close.
up.
You're too close, man. I gotta go. That's enough. I'll be back Thursday night, 8 p.m. We'll tell you if we got our
Dave.
predictions right this year. We'll tell you fight of the year, fighter of the year, all the things. It's going to be a really big show. I have a lot of prep work to do. I'm going to go start now. Okay, guys, we love you. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Angelo, Harold, Antoinette. Oh, there's Antoinette. I just said her name. I didn't even know she was there. What's up, Antoinette? Leor, my man. Shout out to everybody supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net, merch.ringsidereport.net, membership.ringsidereport.net. Support the channel. Keep us going. Keep us strong. Pay for our Netflix so we can watch WWE in January, all right? Come on, help us out, baby. We love you. We'll see you again soon here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again.